Somewhere between pain and pleasure lies a path, a narrow, often invisible way that leads not to wealth or fame, but to the end of suffering. It is a path anyone can walk, but few dare to tread. It demands a kind of courage that doesn't seek applause, a stillness that cuts through illusion. This is the story of one man who left behind everything the world cherished: his power, luxury, family, not for glory, but for truth. He was not born with wings or halos. He was born as we all are, with flesh, breath, and longing. Yet in the profound silence of his own mind, he uncovered something that continues to change lives across centuries. This is the story of Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha, and the truths he offered to the world. Over 2.5 millennia ago, in the ancient kingdom of Kapilavastu, a child was born into immense privilege. His name was Siddhartha. Prophets and sages gathered to speak of his destiny, saying he would either become a mighty ruler or a great spiritual teacher. Fearing the latter, his father, King Siddhartha, built a world of illusions around his son, a gilded prison of joy and comfort. Pain was kept out, sorrow hidden. Disease, death, aging, none were allowed near the prince. His youth passed in opulence. Surrounded by dancers, gardens, and the pleasures of palace life, Siddhartha was given everything a man might crave. He married the beautiful Yashodhara, had a son, and to the outside world seemed blessed beyond measure. But beneath the golden canopy, a quiet discontent grew. A question stirred within him that no feast could satisfy, no melody could silence. One day, driven by restlessness, he asked his charioteer Channa to take him outside the palace gates. For the first time, Siddhartha saw the world that had been hidden from him. He encountered an old man, wrinkled, hunched, frail. It was a sight he could not comprehend. Channa explained that this is the fate of all. Youth fades, strength wanes, and the body withers. The next outing brought him face to face with disease, a man groaning in agony, overcome by sickness. Then came death. A lifeless body carried by mourners, grief etched into the faces of those left behind. Each of these sights broke through the prince's illusions like thunder through silence. Finally, he saw a wandering ascetic, serene and still amidst the chaos. When Channa told him this man had renounced everything in search of inner peace, Siddhartha felt something awaken within. If suffering is the destiny of all, what purpose can joy truly serve? And if peace exists, where does one begin to seek it? That night, Siddhartha looked upon his sleeping wife and newborn son. He knew what he was about to do. In a final act of love, one that would be misunderstood by many, he walked away from everything. He left not to escape responsibility, but to embrace a higher one, to find a path that could free not just himself, but all beings from suffering. Thus began his years of searching. First, he sought wisdom from great masters. Alara Kalama taught him how to dissolve the mind into vast, silent states of consciousness. Siddhartha mastered these teachings quickly, reaching the realm of nothingness, where thought ceases and identity disappears. But when he emerged from meditation, he found the world unchanged, suffering still present. He moved on to Udaka Ramaputta, who led him deeper still into states so subtle they defied logic or perception. Siddhartha reached the height of mental discipline, the edge of non-existence. But again, peace remained elusive. These altered states, while profound, were temporary. They offered escape, not transformation. Siddhartha thanked his teachers and walked on. Next, he joined a group of ascetics who believed that liberation could only come by destroying the body's hold over the soul. He pushed himself further than any of them. He fasted to the point of collapse, consumed barely enough to survive, practiced breath control until unconsciousness, and exposed himself to heat and cold with no protection. His body shrank to skin and bones, yet his mind remained chained. Despite all the pain, freedom did not arrive. One day, as he sat weak and near death by a riverbank, he heard a lute being tuned. A musician on a passing boat said, "If the string is too tight, it breaks. If it's too loose, it won't play. Only with the right tension does it sing." These words struck Siddhartha deeper than any scripture. He realized that neither indulgence nor denial was the answer. Truth, like the lute, required balance. In that moment, he discovered the middle way: not excess, not deprivation, but harmony. Soon after, a village woman named Sujata offered him a simple bowl of rice and milk. He accepted it. The other ascetics were horrified, believing he had abandoned the path. But Siddhartha knew he had finally taken his first real step toward truth. He left the forest and walked to a fig tree near the village of Bodh Gaya. There, he sat down, legs crossed, spine straight, breath steady. He made a vow: "I will not rise from this spot until I have found the end of suffering." Days passed. Night fell. Visions and fears rose like storms in his mind. The demon Mara, the personification of illusion, appeared not as a monster, but as every temptation, fear, and distraction the human mind can conjure. He sent his daughters to seduce, his armies to terrify, and his own voice to whisper doubt. But Siddhartha did not move. He watched Mara with unshakable clarity, recognizing every illusion for what it was. And as dawn approached, his mind broke through the final veil. He saw clearly, as one sees in the stillness of undisturbed water. He understood the law that governs all things, the arising and passing of every thought, every feeling, every form. He saw that nothing is permanent, that attachment to what changes is the root of all suffering. He saw the nature of desire, the origin of pain, and the way beyond it. And in that moment, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, the awakened one. He could have remained in that state forever, dissolved into the infinite peace he had found, but he rose, because he knew others suffered as he once had. And if there was a path, it must be shared. He began to teach, not from dogma, but from experience. He explained that suffering existed is a truth no one escapes, but it has a cause, desire, and attachment. And if it has a cause, it can also have an end. This end, he said, is found by walking the Noble Eightfold Path, cultivating right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These were not abstract ideals. They were tools, practical steps to transform the mind, purify the heart, and awaken wisdom. He taught that nothing external, no God, ritual, or offering could bring liberation. The work was within. The path was not easy, but it was real. For the next 45 years, the Buddha walked across the Indian subcontinent, barefoot, teaching kings and beggars alike. He accepted all who sought the truth, regardless of caste, gender, or status. He asked not for worship, but for awareness. He built no temples, offered no miracles, and never claimed divinity. He simply pointed toward a way out of suffering. At the age of 80, lying beneath the trees in Kushinagar, he took his final breath. His body passed, but his teachings lived on. They continue to live, not as relics of the past, but as a timeless invitation. Buddha's message is not confined to temples or robes. It speaks to anyone willing to see clearly, to let go, and to walk a path of compassion and insight. The journey he took is not far from us. It begins in this moment, wherever we are, with whatever we carry. We need not be perfect, only sincere. Like him, we begin by asking the right question. Why do we suffer? And how can we be free? The path is open. The light is within.